Inside Edition with Deborah Norville.
Trash on the highway isn't just ugly, it's dangerous. According to a recent study by the AAA, 25,000 accidents a year can be attributed to road debris. Now, we've reported on the problem a number of times, but rarely have we encountered a road debris accident as horrific as this one. It found a woman driver impaled in the face. Matt Mahar reports.
For the last 6 weeks, Brenda Shaw has had her jaw wired shut.
I'm just nervous how my jaw's going to work.
You'll feel a little pulling, but it shouldn't be anything worse than that.
Getting the wires snipped off is the last major step in an incredible story of survival. This 36-year-old mother of 3 is lucky to be alive. In March, she was impaled by a piece of road debris, this 8-foot-long pole, while driving to work near Salt Lake City, Utah. Police say it was a piece of scaffolding that fell off a truck and flew through Brenda's windshield into her face.
I just wanted to report an accident. It appeared that something went through the windshield of the lady. I'm coming up to the people now. She is hurt bad, blood's all over.
I thought, oh, she's dead.
Miraculously, Brenda survived.
Hi, hon.
This video diary was shot exclusively for Inside Edition by Brenda's husband, Kelly, in the days just after the accident. The video shows extreme swelling on the left side of her face. The large wound where the pole went through her neck is still black and blue.
An ICU nurse told me that she had been impaled by an 8-foot-long bar. The pipe went through the face, below the ear, and came out at the back of the neck.
Her surgeon, Dr. Creighton Walker, literally put Brenda's face back together.
A millimeter or two further up and it would have destroyed her left eye. A millimeter or two further in and it would transected her carotid artery and she would have been dead. Or if it had gone a little bit higher, it could have gone into her brain.
At first, Brenda couldn't understand what had happened to her.
She was asking, why didn't my seatbelt work? Why didn't my airbag work? And I said, honey, you got hit with debris. It wasn't an accident. It was a piece of debris that struck you.
Even the simplest task becomes painfully difficult. This is how she eats, by squeezing a syringe full of liquid into her mouth. Unable to speak, Brenda writes her thoughts on this board.
I'm stressing about getting into a car. I've been thinking about it.
She draws a diagram showing what she remembers about the accident.
So you're
she
saying
circles where she was on the highway just before the pole came flying through the windshield. Her husband says at times it was hard to hold back the tears.
I was crying and she wrote down on her pad, why are you crying? Do I look that horrible? You know, and I'm like, no, you look fine. You're just injured. You know, I'm just crying because you're injured.
Brenda says seeing her face for the first time was traumatic.
I had walked into the bathroom to take my first shower and looked in the mirror and I about fainted.
Luckily for Brenda, the scar from where the pole entered her face falls on the natural line of her cheek and is almost invisible.
It's taken a lot away from me. It could have taken a lot more. I came very close to dying. Not ready to die.
To avoid road debris, the AAA recommends you keep 4 to 5 seconds distance between you and the vehicle you're following.
A freak accident you won't believe.
You pulled this out of your face.
I Shouldn't Be Alive. That's coming up right now on Montel.
10 seconds, on go.
Listening.
Tape is rolling, stand by.
I want the most powerful 3 minutes I can get out of the top of the show.
5 seconds, 4,
I was good.
3, 2.
Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. You know, my guests today have a lot in common. They all came face to face with death, and guess what? They're here today to talk about it. Now, my first guest says a simple drive to work turned into a tragic accident in just the blink of an eye. Take a look at this.
It was on March 19th. It was a Monday. I was on my way to work. I had just dropped my daughter off to my mom's and was heading on I-15. I'm a very particular driver. I like to watch the time, my mileage, and how fast I'm going to see how much time it's going to take me to get to work. And I also like to watch the flow of traffic. And then the next thing I know, something had struck my car and I was pulling over to the left-hand side. I had no clue what had hit me. I looked to my left and a gentleman had opened up my car door and said, "You need to hold still." And then I turned and looked, and the window had a great big hole and was shattered, and my airbags didn't go off. I had my seatbelt on. I was in so much shock, I didn't realize what had happened to me.
You're coming out of this slight blackout for a second, right?
Right.
Somebody's talking to you. What are you saying, right?
Yeah.
And then he was going, "Ma'am, don't move. Ma'am, don't move." Did you realize why he was saying don't move?
I had no clue what had happened.
When did you find out? When did you consciously know what had taken place?
When I turned and I looked at the window and there was a hole and it was shattered, I knew something had happened to me. I just hadn't realized how damaged I was or what had hit me.
And see, I think everybody in the audience is right now waiting with bated breath to find out what happened. Folks, she's driving down the road. A pipe about this width and about 8 or 9 feet longer than this went right through the window of her car, right through your face, through it and into the seat. And then you, without even being conscious, pulled this out of your face.
Yeah.
Now tell them, what did it take to rescue you? Find out.
It took a lot of paramedics, the police.
The jaws of life, they had to cut the roof off the car.
Yeah.
You're pulling you up out of here, but still, at this point in time, do you have any idea that this was sticking through your head?
No. No.
Okay, so
I'm still in shock.
they flighted you. They meta-flighted you, right? Medevac you away, got you to the hospital. When were you told anything? When did you know? Not until after multiple operations, right?
Yeah, well, and they kept telling me at the hospital, and I was still in so much shock. They kept repeating themselves, and I kept asking them, no airbags, no, I had my seatbelt on tight. I still was not comprehending what had hit me.
Well, how many surgeries have you had to undergo so far?
I've had the one to sew me up first thing when I got there to stop the bleeding, and then I had 2 after that, and then I've also had 3 on the back of my neck.
Because let's go again. This went through your face, through your neck, came out right here by your shoulder. Had it been, what, 2 millimeters further?
Yep.
To the right, what would have happened?
I'd have been dead.
It had hit her carotid artery, she'd have been dead on the spot.
Yeah.
God, girlfriend, what has the recovery been like for you?
It's been very long to me and very hard.
How tough has this been on your family?
My kids they don't want me to leave them. They've been really clingy. My whole family's been that way, my mom, my dad. It's been hard on the kids. It's been a total life change.
When you see yourself now in the mirror, now looking at you, other than I know that you have a little nerve damage, that right now I hope that the nerves are regenerating so you will eventually get full use of the side of your face or that will come back. But when you look at yourself, do you see any difference? Because I swear to you, right now, you walked in my door and said, I just had this sticking in my face. I say, no, you didn't. So what do you see, though, when you look?
I have a hard time with it.
Do you? Because you also see the fact that the nerves are not working.
I have a hard time looking at pictures. My son found a picture the other day, and he said, Mom, it's been a long time since I've seen you really smile. I can't smile anymore at him. I have a hard time with that. I love to smile. You know, now, did you ever get a chance to talk to that doctor who performed all the surgery on you, Dr. Walker? Yes.
If it were not for him, you wouldn't be here today.
Yes.
Please welcome Dr. Creighton Walker to the show. Come on, Dr. Walker. Alicia, thank you so much for being here today. Honestly, sit down. Talk to us for a second about this, because this had to be, first off, this shattered everything on this side of her face. Cheekbone, eye socket, everything.
The rod went through her face right here and fractured all the bones around her eye, and then it went through the top jaw and fractured all the top jaw, and then it went through here and fractured all of the lower jaw on this left side, and then it went through and fractured this bone right here, which is called the styloid process, which is right by her facial nerve, and then it went out the back of her neck.
So, and it had, your carotid artery runs right through that little hole right there.
The carotid artery runs right through that little hole right there. And if that rod had been 1 to 2 millimeters more inside her head, it would have transected the carotid artery and she would have died at the scene.
What did you want to say to the doctor? Do you want to tell him anything publicly?
I think he's the most awesome man in the world. I appreciate everything he's done for me, and he's been there for me anytime I've needed him.
He's there.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Next up, I said, this show is about people who have survived almost the unsurvivable. And when we come back, we're going to meet a man who survived one of the most horrific mass murders of our time. I'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.